Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a role that's not just new, but, well, absolutely pivotal in today's tech landscape, the AI product manager.
It really is a fascinating position that's just sort of exploded onto the scene as artificial intelligence has woven itself into pretty much every industry you can think of.
Right.
And we've gathered a whole stack of articles and research here that really get into the weeds on this critical job. It sits right there, where AI technology meets actual business creativity.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really understand what makes this role tick. Like, what are their core responsibilities? How is it fundamentally different from, say, traditional product management? What kind of compensation are we talking about for someone with these pretty unique skills?
Yeah, the money question.
And what's the demand like? Is it really as hot as people say? And where's this whole field heading?
By the end of this, you'll really see why these AI product managers or AI PMs are fast becoming indispensable, especially for companies that actually want to turn that cutting-edge AI potential
Right.
into real, valuable products that people, use and hopefully love. It takes a truly unique mix of skills. So yeah, let's unpack it.
Okay, so the rise of the AIPM, it wasn't an accident, right? It's a direct response to this huge explosion of AI adoption everywhere.
Absolutely. As companies started plugging AI into their operations, they pretty quickly realized, uh-oh, we need someone specific to lead this. Someone equipped to handle all the complexities that come with AI.
Yeah, specialists.
Exactly. At its heart, an AI product manager is kind of like the bridge builder. They operate right at that convergence point. Business goals, the really advanced AI and machine learning tech, and crucially, a deep understanding of what users actually need.
And they guide the whole journey.
The entire journey. From the initial spark of an idea for an AI-powered product all the way through launch and then managing it long after.
And it sounds like their scope is pretty broad. They're tasked with defining the bigger picture, is how some sources put it. Constantly researching AI trends, scouting for opportunities.
Yeah, where can AI genuinely solve a problem or create some kind of new value that just wasn't possible before? Our sources kept hitting this point.
Yeah.
They manage the business, technology, and data aspects. All three are critical.
It's become this evolutionary necessity, right? Because the old ways, the traditional product management frameworks, they just don't always work for AI.
They often fall short, yeah. Because traditional software is usually deterministic. You put X in, you get Y out. Predictable.
Right.
AI. Its performance is profoundly tied to data. Its often probabilistic outcomes can vary. They're not set in stone. There are bigger technical feasibility risks, too. Can we even build this?
Yeah.
Especially with stuff like generative AI, where the outputs can be, well, surprising.
Unpredictable, yeah.
And then you layer on this whole new set of ethical considerations you have to wrestle with from day one.
That data part sounds like a really huge shift. For AI PMs, things like figuring out data acquisition, checking data quality, setting up governance, mitigating bias, those aren't just side tasks.
Oh, absolutely not. They're fundamental, foundational even, to whether the product works at all, let alone works correctly and fairly. Data is just far, far more central to their role than for a traditional software PM.
Okay, so what does that actually look like, day to day? What are they doing?
Well, their responsibilities really span that whole AI product lifecycle. It usually kicks off with the strategic definition stuff.
Right.
Diving into AI trends, identifying specific spots where AI or ML could make a real difference, crafting that product vision and strategy, and laying out the roadmap.
And they're thinking about the MVP, the minimum viable product, but with an AI lens. Like, what data do we absolutely need from the get-go?
Exactly. That's a key consideration early on. Then they're managing the product backlog, curating ideas, breaking down these often really complex AI initiatives into smaller, manageable pieces.
And prioritizing. How do they decide what comes first?
It's a mix. Business value, user impact, definitely, but also, crucially, technical feasibility and data readiness. Can we actually build this thing with the data and the tech we currently have? That's a huge gate.
Okay. Then comes development. How are they steering that?
Well, they're steering the ship, but they're watching a different set of dials, you could say. Alongside the usual business metrics, revenue, engagement, etc., they define and monitor critical model performance metrics.
Oh.
Things like accuracy, how often is the model right? Precision, when it says something's positive, how often is it really positive? Recall, did it find all the positive things it should have? And increasingly important, fairness metrics.
And they need to really understand those.
Deeply, because they have to make tough trade-offs. Maybe
Huh.
you sacrifice a tiny bit of accuracy to significantly improve fairness across different groups, or you consider the cost. Does this super accurate model cost a fortune to run? And they're collaborating super closely with these highly specialized teams, data scientists, ML engineers, sometimes even pure researchers. It's a different dynamic than just working with software engineers.
Do they still use things like Agile?
Often, yeah, but sometimes it needs tweaking. AI development can be more experimental, more iterative. You might not know exactly what's going to work until you try it.
Right, that uncertainty again.
Exactly. And then, post-launch, they own the market success, the whole life cycle. But for AI PMs, that life cycle fundamentally includes something called MLOps, machine learning operations.
MLOps. Okay, what's that about?
This is where that deeper technical engagement really shows up. AI models aren't like static software you ship once. They're like living systems. They need constant monitoring, evaluation. Why? Because the real-world data they see changes over time.
Ah, so the model can drift.
Precisely. It can start to underperform or behave unexpectedly. So MLOps involves continuously watching those model metrics, figuring out when retraining is needed, managing different versions of the model. It's much more integral and ongoing than traditional software maintenance.
Okay, so it definitely sounds like they share some DNA with traditional PMs. The vision, the focus on value, communication skills, user empathy, prioritization. Both are sort of the conductor of the orchestra, right?
Absolutely. That core goal of delivering value is the same. But AI introduces these distinctions that are, well, critical and really pervasive. You can't ignore them.
So what are the biggest ones?
First, the technology itself. AI, especially the cutting-edge stuff like large language models, generative AI, it's evolving at a breakneck speed, way faster than traditional software paradigms typically change. You have to constantly be learning.
And that speed leads to more uncertainty.
Exactly. AI development inherently has more fog around it.
Yeah.
Technical feasibility isn't always clear up front. You often discover it through experimentation. Like one source said, with AI products, the fog is particularly thick.
I like that.
And that probabilistic nature we talked about, it's just a different world from deterministic software. It demands a much more experimental mindset all the way through.
And data. You mentioned data being central.
Huge dividing line. For AI PMs, data isn't just input, it's a core component of the product itself. Performance, reliability, fairness, they're all directly linked to the quality and quantity of your data.
So they have strategic responsibility for it.
Yes. Acquisition, quality management, governance, and crucially, finding and mitigating bias. One source highlighted, for many AI products today, the biggest hurdle is training data itself. Insufficient quantity or quality. It's not a side job. It's absolutely foundational.
Got it. And you mentioned specialized collaboration.
Right. Working shoulder to shoulder with data scientists, ML engineers, it requires a different kind of technical fluency and communication style than managing traditional software teams.
And unique trade-offs, too.
Definitely. It's not just feature A versus feature B. It's balancing accuracy against interpretability. Can we explain why the model made this decision? Or performance speed versus computational cost. These are model-specific decisions.
And finally, ethics.
Ethics looms much larger and requires more active, ongoing attention. Fairness, accountability, transparency, privacy, societal impact. These aren't just checkboxes. They are core to the job because the potential for unintended consequences or even harm is often higher with these powerful systems. Building user trust means actively tackling these ethical complexities head-on.
It's helpful to see how this plays out in real products. The sources gave some good examples from big tech, like Google Maps.
Yeah, a traditional PM there might work on the UI, the search bar, making it easy to find places.
Right.
But the AI PM, they're likely focused on the guts, the models predicting traffic flow in real time, or the algorithms figuring out the absolute best route based on tons of data.
Okay. Or Spotify.
Traditional PM might own, say, playlist creation features or how you share music.
Makes sense.
The AI PM is the one behind the magic of your Discover Weekly playlist. They own that core recommendation engine.
Amazon. Traditional PM on checkout flow, maybe product page design.
Exactly. While the AI PM is deep in the algorithms for detecting fraudulent purchases or the dynamic pricing models or those product recommendations, customers who bought this also bought.
Gotcha. And Netflix. Traditional PM on the app, experience, streaming quality.
Right. But the AI PM, they're driving the personalization algorithms, what shows up on your homepage, why it suggests that movie next, even optimizing which little thumbnail image they show you to get you to click.
So it really is a symbiotic relationship then. The AI PM focuses on that intelligence layer, the algorithms, the data.
Yeah, the core smartness of the product.
Well, the traditional PM handles the broader UX, how it integrates the overall market fit.
Exactly. They're working together towards the same product goals, but their deep expertise and the specific challenges they wrestle with are fundamentally shaped by whether AI is really at the product's core.
Okay, now let's talk money. What does all this specialized skill and intense demand actually translate to in terms of compensation? Because it sounds pretty good for AI PMs.
It certainly is. It's a favorable landscape. In the U.S., you're often looking at average total compensation, so base plus bonus plus stock well into the $150,000 to over $200,000 range, even higher sometimes.
Wow.
ZipRecruiter data from May 2025 put the average base salary around $159,000. But Glassdoor data from June 2024 showed average total comp around $244,000. That jump shows how significant those extras can be.
That's a big difference. And the sources mentioned this is often a premium, right? Like 15–20% more than a general PM.
Yeah, that premium reflects the specialized skills and the strategic importance. And location matters a lot. Tech hubs pay more, obviously.
Let me specific.
California cities pop up frequently in the high ranges. ZipRecruiter data mentions Soledad averaging nearly $240K, Portola Valley over $220K, Cupertino around $197K, Sunnyvale near $190K. New York State was averaging around $174K, Manhattan a bit higher.
And it gets even higher at those specialized AI companies.
Oh, yeah. In those high-cost areas, places like C3.ai or Scale AI, total comp figures cited were anywhere from around $190K up to, well, $450K plus annually, depending on the role and level. That's serious money.
And how does experience factor in? Does it scale up quickly?
It does. Using base salary data from April 2025 as a guide, junior AI PMs might start around $92,500 base. Mid-level hits that average $159K base. Senior levels climb towards $197K Becca base, on average.
It's interesting, though. Even entry-level AI PM roles seem to command pretty high total comp in some data, like around 143K. Does that mean you can't really be entry-level?
That's a good point. It suggests you often need some kind of relevant experience before landing your first dedicated AI PM role. Maybe you were a data analyst or a traditional PM working on AI features. It's not typically a straight-out-of-undergrad position.
Right.
And then at the absolute top end, senior PM roles at the elite AI labs like OpenAI. The reported total comp numbers are staggering. We're talking $700K to over $1 million, heavily driven by stock equity, of course. C3.ai also shows very high ranges for senior folks, like $200K to $340K low plus Class A. It just underscores the immense value placed on top AI product leadership.
And what about outside the U.S.? Is it competitive globally?
The U.S. definitely leads in compensation, but the demand is global, and salaries are competitive in other major markets, though generally lower. The sources gave some indicative ranges, sometimes using senior general PMs as a proxy.
Yeah.
UK, maybe 150K, 220K range total comp, roughly 190K, 280K USD. Germany, maybe 120K euro, 86K, 129K USD, specifically for AI PMs. Netherlands and Singapore showed similar ranges for senior general PMs, like 130K, 200K plus USD territory. Lower overall, but still competitive locally for senior lead AI PM roles. Ranges like 60 lakhs up to 1.1 crore. More were mentioned, which is roughly 72K to 132K plus USD. So yeah, the demand signal is definitely global.
Speaking of demand, it sounds incredibly strong right now, heading into 2025.
It really is. AI PMs are genuinely needed. Companies are moving past just playing around with AI proofs of concept. They're trying to deploy AI for real business results, and they need skilled leaders to make that happen effectively.
Yeah, make it actually work and provide value.
Exactly. There was a stat that 92% of companies plan to increase their AI investments in the next 3 years. And you just see AI becoming mainstream. Think about ChatGPT being used by hundreds of millions weekly, most Fortune 500s exploring it. The AI PM role is shifting from niche to absolutely central.
And the job growth numbers reflect that, even if it's hard to get exact AI PM stats.
Yeah, they back it up. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects strong growth for related computer jobs overall, like software devs growing nearly 18% through 2033.
Wow.
And looking closer at the AI ecosystem, one report showed AM engineer roles growing like crazy over 40% year over year recently.
That's huge.
Right. And it stands to reason. If you hire that many more engineers building AI, you absolutely need more product managers to strategically guide what they build and why. LinkedIn data also showed big jumps in AI-related job postings generally, and generative AI roles specifically surged massively in the last couple of years.
And this isn't just a Silicon Valley thing anymore, is it?
Not at all. While the big tech players and specialized AI firms are obviously hiring heavily,
Amazon, Apple, TikTok, Scale AI, C3.ai.
yeah, them, but the demand is now incredibly broad. We're seeing AI PM roles pop up in healthcare and pharma companies like Gentech, IDEXX,
Interesting.
finance and fintech, PayPal, Capital One, e-commerce and retail, Flipkart, Walmart using AI for logistics, recommendations, everything. Major SaaS platforms like Salesforce are embedding AI deeply.
Even like legal firms.
Yeah, even large legal firms like Sidley Austin were mentioned, plus media companies, consulting. It really shows that AI product management is becoming a horizontal function. It's critical across tons of different sectors, not just pure tech.
So looking ahead then, what's the future hold for this role? It sounds like it's only getting more important.
Exceptionally bright, I'd say, and increasingly strategic. As we look towards 2025 and beyond, AI isn't just going to be a feature in products, it's becoming a core driver of product strategy itself. Decisions will be more and more informed by data science insights, by what the algorithms tell you.
I like that quote from Andrew Yang you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the idea that as the how of building AI gets easier, better tools, platforms, etc., the demand for the people who decide what to build with AI and why, that demand will just keep increasing.
That's the AI PM.
That's the AIPM's core job. The future is about shaping completely new kinds of innovative products, new user experiences we haven't even thought of yet. The role is really moving towards central strategic business leadership.
And the tech itself keeps changing so fast. Gen AI, LLMs, now things like agentic AI.
Exactly. These aren't just small updates, they're fundamental paradigm shifts. Generative AI, bigger, smarter language models, agentic AI systems like Salesforce's Agentforce concept, where AI can perform complex multi-step tasks autonomously,
Wow.
and multimodal AI, where AI understands text, images, audio, video all together, like Google's Gemini Live or OpenAI's Sora video generator. These are changing the game.
So how does that change the products they manage?
Products are becoming, well, different, more co-creative maybe, where the AI is like a partner helping you create something. Definitely more conversational, thanks to LLMs enabling natural language interaction, and potentially more autonomous with agentic AI doing complex stuff for you.
Which means AI PMs need new skills again.
Constantly learning. They need to understand things like prompt engineering. How do you talk to the AI effectively? RAG systems, retrieval augmented generation, helping LLMs use external knowledge accurately, and designing user experiences for interacting with AI agents. It's a whole new design challenge compared to traditional interfaces.
And AI is helping the PMs themselves too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a fascinating angle. AI tools are becoming powerful assistants for the PM. Gene AI can potentially boost their productivity significantly, maybe 40% or more, for tasks like drafting requirements, summarizing user feedback, brainstorming features.
So AI is in their products and their toolkit.
Exactly. Ultimately, AI PMs are the ones defining value, ensuring these powerful systems are deployed responsibly and ethically, and crucially, managing user trust as systems get smarter and more autonomous.
Okay, so to really succeed in this, what's in the essential toolkit? What skills and tools do they absolutely need?
It's this unique blend, often called T-shaped or even pie-shaped, meaning you need deep expertise in maybe one or two areas like the AI tech or the business side, but also broad knowledge across product, business, tech, data, and ethics.
So what are the core competencies?
First, a solid technical understanding of AML foundations. You don't need to be coding models yourself, but you have to grasp the core concepts, how models are trained, how they're validated, what metrics like precision and recall actually mean in context, the typical data science workflow, the ML lifecycle. You need to know what's possible, what's hard, what the limitations are.
And data literacy is key, you said.
Non-negotiable. Deep understanding of data's role. Where does it come from? Is it good quality? How is it governed? How do we spot and mitigate bias? That whole data pipeline oversight is critical.
Plus the standard PM skills.
Absolutely. Product strategy, vision, roadmap creation, ROI analysis, market understanding, building business cases, all that good stuff.
And user focus.
Still paramount, but with AI twists. Thinking about unique UX challenges like explainability, helping users understand why the AI did something, and building trust in systems that might seem like black boxes.
Communication must be huge too.
Critical. You need to be a technical translator, explaining complex AI concepts to non-technical stakeholders, telling clear stories about model capabilities and limitations.
And ethics.
Ethical stewardship is a core competency now. Understanding responsible AI principles, fairness, accountability, transparency, privacy. Being proactive about detecting and mitigating bias. Ensuring compliance. AI PMs are often the first line of defense here.
And finally, leadership.
Yeah, leadership, collaboration, adaptability. You're leading these diverse, highly specialized teams, navigating constant uncertainty, fostering a culture where it's okay to experiment and sometimes fail.
The point about understanding ML concepts, not necessarily coding,
Mm.
it's about informed decision.
Exactly. It's about
Okay.
knowing the ML lifecycle, interpreting metrics correctly, like high precision might be crucial for fraud detection, but high recall might be more important for medical diagnosis. It's about asking the right questions of your technical teams.
Does familiarity with specific frameworks like TensorFlow or PyTorch help?
It's beneficial, yeah. Again, not for coding, but for communication. Knowing conceptually what they're used for TensorFlow and PyTorch for deep learning, Scikit-learn more for traditional ML helps you understand effort estimates, dependencies, have better conversations.
And MLOps tools. You mentioned SageMaker, Azure ML.
Increasingly critical because AI products are these living systems, understanding the basics of deployment, scaling, monitoring for performance drift, retraining models, versioning. It's essential for the ongoing health of the product. Being aware of the common cloud platforms like AWS SageMaker or Azure ML or open source tools like Kubeflow or MLflow helps you grasp the operational side.
And then there are other tools they use daily.
Loads. And increasingly, AI is embedded in those tools. AI-assisted PM tools are popping up everywhere. ChatGPT for brainstorming or summarizing text, maybe WriteEye for writing assistance, Fathom AI for meeting notes, Perplexity AI for research, Notion AI integrated into workspaces.
Socialized ones, too.
Yeah, like ProdPad Copilot for analyzing feedback or ChatPRD for helping draft product requirements documents, plus data visualization tools like Tableau or Looker, prototyping tools like Figma now getting AI features, even coding environments like Replit, and the standard PM stack Jira, Confluence, Slack, Miro Many are adding AI capabilities.
So AI is augmenting the PM's own job, too.
Definitely. That's a huge trend.
Okay, but this sounds challenging. It's not an easy role. What are the big hurdles?
The challenges really stem from AI's unique nature. A big one is managing that inherent uncertainty and model unpredictability we talked about.
The fog is thick.
Exactly. Because models are probabilistic, their outputs aren't always consistent. This can lead to weird user experiences or just errors, so you need iterative development, lots of A/B testing, maybe designing for graceful failure. How does the product handle it when the AI messes up? Maybe you need a human-in-the-loop system. And managing stakeholder expectations is key. You can't always promise perfect, predictable results.
And the data dependency creates issues.
Huge ones. Just getting enough good data can be the biggest hurdle. Ensuring data quality is a constant struggle. Garbage in, garbage out is deadly for AI. Then there's bias lurking in datasets, which can lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes if you're not actively looking for it and mitigating it. And of course, securing and protecting large volumes of potentially sensitive data is a massive responsibility, especially with regulations like GDPR. The data strategy is foundational, but it's really hard to get right.
And ethics isn't just a competency, it's a challenge area, too.
Absolutely. It's a constant balancing act. Fairness across different user groups. Accountability. Who is responsible when the AI makes a mistake? Transparency. Can we even explain how complex models arrive at their decisions? That black box problem erodes trust. Privacy concerns. The potential for misuse. Building and maintaining user trust hinges on navigating all of this carefully. AI PMs are right there on the front lines dealing with bias audits, transparency efforts, ethical reviews.
And finally, the collaboration aspect.
It's complex. Orchestrating these diverse teams, data scientists thinking in probabilities, engineers focused on robust systems, legal experts worried about compliance, ethics advisors, business leaders focused on ROI. It's a lot.
Bridging those gaps sounds tough.
It is. The AI PM often acts as the translator between these different worlds, managing all that expertise, avoiding silos where teams don't talk to each other, just the sheer coordination complexity. It's a big part of the job. They really are a critical integrator, and that's a challenging role to play.
So for someone listening who's thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, maybe even like me, how do people get into this? Is there a clear path?
There's no single yellow brick road, really. We see transitions from a few common backgrounds.
Like,
Traditional product managers who deliberately upskill, adding AI and ML knowledge through courses, projects, or working on AI features. That's a very common path.
okay,
Also, people coming from the technical side, data scientists or machine learning engineers who realize they enjoy the product strategy and business aspects more, so they build up those skills.
makes sense.
And sometimes software engineers or data analysts who have worked closely with AI projects make the leap too.
But regardless of where you start, learning is key.
Continuous learning is absolutely non-negotiable. This field moves incredibly fast. You have to stay current.
On what specifically?
The latest AML advances, for sure, especially things like Gen AI, LLMs as they evolve, new tools and platforms, particularly in MLOps, evolving ethical guidelines and regulations, how AI is being applied specifically in your industry, understanding different data science techniques, and improving those crucial collaboration and communication skills.
How do you recommend people learn?
A mix of things. Online courses are great for fundamentals, attending industry conferences virtual or in person, joining online communities, reading papers and blogs, finding mentors who are already doing the role, building things yourself, even small projects.
And how do you position yourself for long-term success as the field keeps changing?
Cultivate adaptability above all else. Develop a really strong ethical compass. It's only going to become more important. And try to build foresight. Think about where things are heading. Strive to be a visionary leader, not just managing today's tasks.
So concrete actions could be.
Build a portfolio that showcases your AI product thinking, even if it's side projects. Network like crazy in the AI and product communities. Consider specializing, maybe become the expert Gen AI PM, or focus on responsible AI, or AI in a specific industry like healthcare.
And develop that strategic mindset.
Yes, really focus on understanding not just what AI can do today, but where it is heading. Think proactively about the implications for strategy, for users, for society, and be a champion for responsible innovation within your organization.
It sounds like success really depends on juggling technology, user needs, and those ethical considerations.
That's it exactly. Effectively navigating that complex interplay between the rapidly advancing tech, the dynamic user expectations, and the critical ethical imperatives that come with building systems that genuinely impact people's lives.
Okay, so to wrap up this deep dive, the AI product manager is clearly a very distinct and absolutely pivotal role in today's economy. It's demanding, no doubt. Sits right at that complex nexus, deep technical understanding, sharp business strategy, responsible data stewardship, and that crucial ethical layer.
Yeah, the blend of skills needed is pretty unique, definitely highly sought after, which explains the favorable compensation landscape we talked about earlier. And the market demand is undeniably robust and seems to be growing strongly, really fueled by AI, just becoming so pervasive across almost every industry.
And the future looks incredibly promising, maybe even more strategic as AI tech continues its relentless advance. These professionals are genuinely on the front lines, shaping how intelligence gets embedded into, well, everything around us.
And while the challenges are significant, that uncertainty, the data complexities, the tough ethical questions, it's clearly a career path with immense opportunity and the potential for real impact.
Definitely. And here's a final thought for you, our listeners, to maybe mull over, building on everything we've discussed today. As AI systems gain even more powerful capabilities, particularly thinking about the rise of truly autonomous agents or generative AI that can create complex outputs and maybe even take actions independently, how will that need to manage trust, transparency, and the potential for misuse further reshape the core ethical responsibilities and maybe even the fundamental strategic decision-making required of AI product managers in the years to come?
That's a big question, a lot to think about as this field continues to evolve at lightning speed.
It certainly is. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.